So testing. For this second video, let us just start looking at money supply. Now, obviously, this one video cannot completely finish money supply, right? But let's start with the basic definition of money supply on page 180. 180版好嗎 180, okay? So, what is money supply? Basically, okay, it is the amount of money of an economy, okay? 係啦，佢話啦，呢個係個 stock concept， 咩叫 stock concept 咧 ？Basically how much 係咪？原來講緊 how much 唔係多咗少咗，而係現階段 at this moment how much we have，OK？How much we have。好啦，嗱 the thing is here 嗱，唔知嗰本書咧呢度冇講嘅，咁你自己加翻落去啦，OK？For money supply，the money supply curve would look something like this，OK？Obviously, again, we have interest rate as our y-axis, okay? And then we also have the quantity of money in our x-axis, okay? 原來 money supply 咧係打直嘅 ，it's a vertical curve, right? Why? The reason is very simple, because money supply is determined by central bank. 原來由中央銀行去決定 money supply 係有幾多㗎 ，OK？ They would say I would need to let's say print 1 billion for example 係咪啊？佢係決定我而家需要幾多就印幾多錢啦 ，OK？So nothing can change money supply except when central bank says we are going to change it, right? Irrelevant of the interest rate. In fact 係倒轉啊。It is using money supply to control interest rates, okay? At least in economics. 喺 econ 嘅角度咧，係啦，我哋而家 model 咧，全部都係透過 money supply 去改變個 interest rate 嘅。Of course, in reality， 原來現實上咧，好多時倒轉嚟做㗎。OK，in reality，let's say for example，the federal 係咪？原來美國咧係直接 set 一個 target rate 嘅。OK，they set a target interest rate，but doesn't matter. OK，let's stick to our syllabus. OK，我哋 syllabus 咧係透過 money supply and money demand。To determine interest rate, OK， 好嘛？嗱，所以啦 ，money supply looks something like this，OK？ 你阿 Sir 好簡單啫，咁有咩好講啊？原來啦 ，money supply it means basically the sum of cash in public circulation， 即係我哋啊 ，we as citizens，how much cash we are holding in hand plus all the bank deposits，OK？ 原來銀行裡面嘅錢。加埋我哋手頭上揸住嘅錢 ，OK，this would be money supply。原來我哋講緊究竟成個經濟有幾多錢啊？How much money is available in the economy？OK，how much money is available in the economy？OK，好啦 ，now it gets a little bit tricky when we talk about money supply because if we just look at money supply, quite easy. But in fact,There are 3 levels， 原來有3個唔同嘅層次啊 ，can be further divided into 3 different levels of money supply。OK， at least for the case of Hong Kong。好啦，香港有邊3個層次咧 ？OK， 嗱，我哋先逐個睇，跟住之後咧，我哋一次過 summarize 佢啊，好嘛 ？First we call M1。M1 is something we call the narrowest。最狹義啊 ，OK， 最狹窄嘅目光 ，OK。Basically, it only looks at legal tender or cash held by public。OK， 我哋有時 legal tender 啦，或者叫 cash 啦 ，cash held by public。Sometimes we call CP。OK，plus consumers demand deposit with licensed bank。OK，demand deposit. Let's call this DD。OK，demand deposit。OK， now sir， 即係咩玩法啊 ？Boys think about it. Legal tender, obviously you can spend it immediately. Demand deposit 記唔記得啊 ？Is there any maturity？ 有冇話幾時過期啊嗰啲啊 ？No, you can take it out immediately. So here you will see M1 basically all are medium of exchange. 原來 M1 計嘅就只係講緊海來做 exchange 嗰啲錢啦 ，OK？Medium of exchange with the highest liquidity，OK？ 嗱，咩叫 liquidity 咧？呢個隻字嗱，之前我哋提過嘅，不過提多次 ，liquidity refers to the speed and ease to transform into money. Okay, also is and proportion ratio. Obviously, by definition, money always has the highest liquidity. Okay, let us say 咁有乜嘢係 low liquidity 啊 ？Later on, when we look at M3， 我哋喺 M3 你見到啦 ，time deposit the liquidity is not so high. Why？ 我做3個月定期 ，I can only transform the time deposit into money that I can use in 3 months time. 我要等3個月先可以 transform 到啦 ，so that would be lower liquidity. OK， 好嘛，所以 M1 is this one。好啦，跟住啦咩嚟嘅咧 ？M2 emphasize as store of value. OK， M2 係咩意思啦 ？M2 means M1 plus saving deposit. Okay, let's call it DS plus time deposit and NCD in licensed bank. Okay, LB in licensed bank. 原來咧 M2 咧就淨係計 licensed bank 嘅。Basically, M2 means public plus everything in licensed bank. M2 basically is this one. Okay, basically this one. You see, it add in saving deposit, time deposit, and NCD. Okay, and NCD broader coverage. M3 同樣道理。Okay, M3 follows the same logic. Okay, M3 follows the same logic. M2 plus the time deposit. Okay, here time deposit in DTC. Okay, plus NCD in DTC. Okay, 嗱，即係咩意思咧 ？Time deposit, NCD with DTC and restricted license bank， 係咪將嗰啲唔係大銀行、唔係 license bank 嗰啲嘢都加埋啦 ？Basically, all money 係咪 ？All money in Hong Kong。OK， 得唔得？好，阿 Sir， 可唔可以嚟多次啊？得，你阿 Sir。Can we write this in one full sentence? Yes. 睇住咯喎 ，M3 basically equals to CP cash held by public plus demand deposit。我哋呢度停一停先。This would be M1. Okay. Then we also have saving deposit plus time and NCD. Time deposit and NCD in our licensed bank. 好啦，嚟到呢度咧 ，this is M2. Okay, M2. And finally, we add in time deposit and NCD of restricted license bank and DTC. This whole thing will be M3. Okay, 成嚿加埋就係 M3 啦。Okay, 好嘛？嗱 ，so boys, you must recite the definition of M1, M2, and M3. Okay, 但係最重要嘅 ，you need to know the operation of M1, M2, and M3. Okay, now therefore, 好啦，冇啦。Now therefore, let's look at some examples. Okay, from X3. Okay, for X3, let's go to note at page 11. Okay. 望望啦 ，2012 啦，太遠嘅題目我冇放落嚟啦。OK， 嗱 Winnie withdraws this amount。嗱，我哋逐個嚟啦。嗱，你試下睇一次先。嗱 ，boys actually, why don't you pause the video and try to do this question on your own first? Once you try, you continue with the video. OK, do it now. OK, now I assume you have paused the video and have finished doing that。嗱，我哋而家試下啦，點 check 啦。OK， 好嘛 ？Here。Winnie withdraws this amount from time deposit with DTC, right? 即係咩意思啊 ？Immediately, we know this belongs to M3, right? M3 dropped by this amount, right? Then she deposits this amount as a time deposit and demand deposit with a licensed bank. 即係咩意思啊？呢兩行加埋啦 these two adding up together， 記唔記得啊？demand deposit， time deposit this one， time deposit license bank M2 increased by this amount and license bank right in demand deposit demand deposit 記唔記得邊個 M1 increased by 100K。 She keeps this at home 嗱 at home 即係咩意思啊 ？at home 即係CP 啦。This would 150 okay increased by 150 and the remainder to overseas 即係唔關我事啦。So what would be the effects? So you see right M1 increased by 150 okay M3 decreased by let's see by 500。 誒點解冇答案嘅？望下 M2 increased by 200， 邊度 M2 邊度升20萬啊 ？Boys, if you really do in such way， 你咪賴咗嘢咯，係咪啊 ？No, this type of question you need to be extremely careful， 唔係咁做嘅。OK， now boys, let's do this again。我哋嚟多次啊！你頭先做嘅你嘅做法係錯，係計唔到㗎。OK, now let's do it again. First of all, let's do this kind of a question with a table. M1, M2, M3. 好啦 then here we have each line of action. For example, withdraw this amount. Now let's call this action 1. Withdraw 500K from time deposit with DTC. 即係咩意思啊 ？Action 1呢個 action it's going to make M3 drop by 500K。 嗱呢個係冇錯嘅。Okay, this one is correct. Then she deposits as a time deposit in license bank。 即係咩意思啊？我哋叫呢個做第二個 action。 Second action time deposit we remember with license bank is an M2 200K。 Is that the end? No， 記住啊，望多次本書。M3 refers to M2 plus something. Therefore, if it is going to affect M2, it's also going to affect M3. 右邊升20萬，左邊都要升20萬。Therefore, here， 記住。You need to push everything to the right。 原來咧右邊都要啊 ，increase by 200K。Action 3 100K as demand deposit with license bank。 好啦，第三個 action 啊 ，this one we know M1 would increase by 100K， but again 記住啦。M1 is included in M2, which is also included in M3. 任何影響 M1 嘅嘢都一定影響 M2、M3。So here, remember to push to the right hand side. Now, action 4 keeps it at a safe. Okay, 即係咩意思啊？第4項 at a safe, which means CP. Okay, this is a cash held by public. OK， 我自己喺屋企咪 cash held by public 咯 50K again push to the right hand side 50K and final action remits remainder to the overseas. Let's call this action 5. So what's the effect of action 5? Nothing. 點解啊？其實好易諗嘅啫。This is no longer the money in Hong Kong. 呢個唔再係香港嘅錢啦。So now let's add up everything together. M1 increased by 150K. M2 increased by 200, 300, 330K. What about M3? Decrease 500, decrease 300, decrease 200. OK， 咦，係咪計錯咗啊？300， 咦，我係咪寫錯咗啲嘢啊？係啊remainder right 係咪 ？Here you see, these all add up together should result in a decrease in 150K. OK， 好嘛？So the answer, let's see which one. M1 increase 呢個唔係啦 ，M1 increase by 150. Yes, correct, right? And M3 decrease by 150. B is the answer. Okay, B would be the answer. Okay, 原來係咁做㗎。We do this kind of question like this with a table that will push to the right hand side. OK， 得唔得？所以唔該你小心啲做啦。嗱 ，again, can you pause the video and try 啊冇咯喎，原來no more this type of question. But again, don't worry. As we do homework, OK, and as you look at more past paper, you will see more. OK， 我哋繼續啦。Now, which of the following transaction would increase M2? OK， 小心啲啊 ，increase M2 我係要 a net increase. So here, transfer this amount from time deposit in a restricted license bank 即係咩意思啊 ？This one, we know M3 would decrease 500K to her time deposit in a licensed bank. Immediately, we know M2 would increase by 500K. But at the same time, M3 should also increase 因為 M2 升咗 ，M3 都要升啦。Okay, so net increase M2. Seems that A is the answer. 不過啦 as you know, right? I'm not too confident. So let's look at B, C, and D as well. Okay, B. Mr. Lee transfer from current to saving. 嗱，咩叫 current 啊 ？Here, current. Remember, demand deposit. So M1 decreases by here 200K. But for our purpose,記唔記得啊 ？M2 and M3 would also decrease by 200. Okay, 得唔得 ？Because M1, if M1 is affected, M2, M3 would also be affected. Into saving account 即係咩意思啊 ？M2 increase by 200, which means 唔止 M2 啦 ，M3 would also increase by 200. Now, for our purpose, M2 increase, M2 decrease. Is there any net increase in M2? No. 同樣啦 ，Mr. Man deposit cash into saving, OK 係咪啊 ？Cash 即係會 M1, M2 decrease 100K. Cash 啊嘛，係咪 cash 即係 CP cash held by public into saving account saving 嘅 M2 啦 ，M2 increase by 100K. Therefore, it again cancels out. 見唔見啊 ？No net change. Finally, Miss Zhong deposit this amount into time deposit. 睇先 cash into time deposit. Cash 啦，即係邊個影響啊 ？Cash M1, M2 and M3 would drop by 600K. DTC time deposit. DTC 即係乜嘢？Here, DTC M3 would increase by 600K. For our purpose, you only need to M2 decrease. Also not the answer we want. So we know answer would be A. 原來 A 就係答案啦。OK， 得唔得？所以記住啦 ，boys remember every single time you need to push it to the right hand side. OK, M1 if M1 is affected, 2 and 3 would also be affected. 好啦，嗱呢條好自然，呢條真係嗱呢條要小心啊。OK, fair extremely tricky question. OK, it asks for M2 in this case. 你有4樣嘢而家。First, total issue of legal tender. OK, if every legal tender 所有嘅錢，即係乜嘢意思啊 ？All legal tender, OK, meaning is all physical money. OK, 全部 physical money 啦。OK， 嗱，因為我哋未學 monetary base, right? This has something to do with monetary base, right? But we have not learned that yet. OK， 所以呢句我哋暫時 skip 咗先。Legal tender held by all authorized institution， 即係咩意思啊 ？These are the physical money held by banks。我哋有個名俾佢嘅 ，we have a name for it。 it is actually called reserve. Now, don't worry, we haven't learned that yet. 唔係咁重要嘅，但係最重要就係呢樣嘢啦。Total legal tender or the physical money is either held by authorized institution 銀行 or whom。如果唔係銀行揸住，即係邊個人揸住啊？唔係銀行揸住，即係你揸住咯。So these two together, we can conclude cash held by public is actually 220。唔係銀行揸嘅錢，咪即係我哋 public 揸住嘅錢咯。Cash held by public 220。OK， 好嘛？好，跟住啦 ，demand deposit we remember this is M1 right？ A part of M1。好啦，跟住啦 ，all types of deposit with licensed bank and NCD 即係咩意思啊 ？All types of deposit we have demand deposit, saving deposit, time deposit and NCD by licensed bank。咦，呢個即係咩嚟㗎 ？Part of M2, right? So now it is asking the money supply of M2. If you remember, M2 equals to cash held by public plus all the money in licensed bank. Which, by the way, now sub in the number. This is 220. And this is 3,000. Do I need to add in this 100? No, because look at here. Already included. 係包咗啦，3000蚊包咗100㗎啦。So the answer is C. Okay, this is a question worthy of your time for revision. 呢條係要溫㗎 ，it's a little bit tricky. OK， 係有啲 tricky， 係要溫㗎呢條。OK， 好嘛？嗱 ，with that said, I think it should cover. OK， I think it's about that we covered the things that that is affecting cover. What's the definition of M1, M2 and M3? OK， 我哋已經 cover 咗啦，好嘛？嗱 ，here there is one more thing I want to talk about， 但係咧佢好似呢本書就冇講啊，唔好理啦。OK， 嗱 I will still talk about it, right? Now for X3, the notes on page 13. OK, on page 13. OK, I want to look at what are the factors affecting money supply. Now, basically, 即係呢個係 chapter 22 when we talk about monetary policies. 其實即係 chapter 22嘅 monetary policies 啊 ，but I think it's time we start to talk about this. OK, I think it's time we start to talk about this. OK， 好嘛？好，第一個啦 ，central bank printing money 可唔可以唔解啊？要 print money, therefore money supply increase 唔使解啦，係嘛？好，第二樣嘢啦 ，open market operation 有兩樣嘢嘅。On one hand, there is something we call open market purchase. On another hand, we have an open market sales. 阿 Sir 咩嚟㗎 ？Okay, let's talk about open market purchase first. You know, open market purchase goes like this. We have central bank, and then we have the public and banks. Public plus blank banks. 好啦，發生咩事啦？原來所謂 open market purchase, it means that central bank would buy purchase 啊嘛，邊個 purchase 啊 ？Central bank would buy bonds, OK， 然後幫佢買債券 or some other financial instruments。好啦，買嘢要俾啲咩出嚟啊 ？Central bank buy bonds, give money to public and or banks。即係咩意思啊？記住咯 ，money supply 係計緊 ，do you remember right? Cash held by public plus all the deposits in banks, DTC, RLB, right? Therefore, when we talk about open market purchase, in fact, we are talking about money supply increasing. 好啦，另一樣嘢啦 ，open market sales is just the opposite. Central bank 嗱，我叫 PB 啦，好唔好啊？叫呢個 Central bank now they sell bonds，佢賣 bonds。 When they sell bonds, what do they get back? 我賣嘢，我咪收翻錢咯。Do you see now money goes out of the public? public 啊，會少咗錢揸喺手啊。OK 嗱 ，boys remember central bank's money is not counted in money supply. OK, therefore money supply to the economy would decrease. OK 好嘛？好，跟住啦嗱 ，required reserve ratio 嗱 ，this one 我哋咧一陣間，actually not later in the next video, probably next 2 videos, okay, depending on the time, right? We will talk about credit creation in detail. 之後你就明㗎啦。For now, let's just write down when required reserve ratio, let's say increases, 係嘛？ What happens is that banks cannot loan out that much money. 原來佢可以借少嘅錢出去啊。Therefore, credit creation would drop, meaning money supply would drop. 我哋遲啲就明㗎啦。In the next video, okay, we will understand what this is about, okay? And finally, discount rate, okay? 嗱，呢個咩東西嚟嘅咧？ Remember, discount rates and interbank rates, basically the same thing. For discount rate, this is the interest rate between central bank and banks. While interbank rate, this is the between banks. This is the interest rate between banks. Let's say now the discount rate increase. 好嘛，我哋又升啦 increase. So what happened? If you find the interest rate to be higher, so banks would borrow less. 原來佢會借少咗啊 From central bank, I mean, okay? From CB. 唔同中央銀行借咁多錢咯。So what happens is that if they do not borrow that much from central bank, now follows the same logic. 佢借少咗錢，即係可以少咗錢借俾人。Because there will be less money available in the bank to loan out. Therefore, as you know, credit creation would drop, money supply would drop. So boys, do you see? 我哋之前咪話咧 whatever rate 啊 ratio 啊 always basically follows the same logic as interest rate 係咪啊？基本上同 interest rate 係同一樣嘢嚟㗎。OK, money supply decreases 係嘛啊 ？In case you need to recall 嗱，呢個唔關呢個事嘅。In case you need to recall, money supply decreases, meaning interest rate will go up. 所以見唔見啊？我咪話啦 ，whatever rate or whatever ratio, basically they follow the same direction as interest rates. Okay, 好嘛 ？So these would be the factors affecting. Okay, these would be the factors affecting the so-called money supply. Okay, now in fact, with that said, let's skip ahead a little bit. Let's skip ahead a little bit to page 27. 係咪 Since we have learned money demand and money supply 係咪？而家 money demand 同 money supply 我哋教晒啦。OK 嗱 ，but one thing, let's talk about 嗱未教晒嘅 ，but at least you know 係嘛 ？At least you know what's going on。好啦 ，so the so-called equilibrium again and money demand and money supply, the intersection with the equilibrium interest rate and the amounts of money available. Okay, amounts of money available. Okay, 好嘛？ Now, what happens is that 嗱，不如呢度咧，from 219 all the way to 221. Can you read it by yourself? Can you read it by yourself? Okay. Now, now we just look at the notes, the final one. 嗱呢個咧咩 credit creation 嗰啲唔關事啦 ，OK 唔關事啦。嗱 graphically we're going to skip 頭先啱啱見睇咗啦 ，OK 嗱唔好啦，都話多先，記住啊 ，remember interest rate right and then quantity of money, OK quantity of money，記住啊 money supply is a vertical while money demand, which is the sum of transaction demand for money and asset demand for money, is downward sloping. So with this said, we can tell, in fact, the quantity of money is always determined by money supply only. Because no matter how you change MD, do you see it's always at this amount? OK 得唔得？嗱，所以同你嘅 demand supply 咧，今次爭少少啦 ，a little bit different。OK， what happens when money demand increases? Interest rate would go up. OK， like here you see right when it goes to the right, when it shifts to the right, it goes up, goes down. But the thing is, quantity of money will not change. While for money supply, now supply 都係啦 when it goes up, the price or the interest rate would go down, go up. But then when money supply changes, it's also going to affect the quantity of money. Go up, go down. Okay, now this one I don't think is too difficult, right? You can look at the graph and you will understand. 好啦，我哋睇埋睇多兩條 past paper 啦，好嘛？ Now this one in practice paper, not exactly a past paper, right? 係嘛？ Here shows the money demand and money supply of an economy originally at E, right? Now suppose national income increases and carry out open market purchase of bonds. OK， 嗱我哋諗啦 ，nominal income increases 即係咩意思啊 ？Basically, now wealth and income both increases. 記唔記得啊？有錢就是任性啊嘛。As we have more money, what do? We both spend more and we will hold more money as asset. Okay, therefore it should go this way. 係咪啊？應該啦 ，money demand 係要升嘅。Here and money demand should go up. Open market purchase of bond. 記唔記得咩叫 purchase 啊 ？Purchase basically give money to buy bonds. What does that mean? It means that money supply will go up. Here, so money supply also go to here. Answer would be A. A 呢一點啦，因為兩個都升啊嘛。Okay, one more question. Here, the diagram below shows the money demand and money supply originally at E. Suppose the risk of holding bonds increase. Okay, now if other assets risk go up. 好啦，其他嘢 risky 咗喎。Would you hold other things? No, you will hold more money as asset, which means MA would go up. So MD 係嘛 should go to the right. 好啦 ，Central Bank reduces discount rate. 好啦，而家我哋終於識解啦。嗱 ，but shortcut first， 記唔記得我哋之前講過 shortcut 啦 ？Shortcut whatever rate, basically, it means that interest rate would decrease. 幾時 interest rate will decrease 啊 ？If you remember, money supply increases. Okay, money supply increases, so interest rate would decrease. 好嘛？嗱呢個 shortcut， 但係啦，唔好 shortcut 啦。既然而家學咗 ，now we know how to explain, right? So again, when discount rate decreases, bank would borrow more and they would loan out more 係咪？借多啲錢嚟借出去俾人呃。Therefore, the deposit creation 或者叫 credit creation may go up. So money supply go up. Okay, so money supply go to here. A is the answer. Okay, 即係兩個都升啦。Okay, MA and money supply increases. Okay, 好嘛？ So these are the non-mathematical parts of this chapter on money demand and money supply. Now for the last video, or probably the last two videos, 因為可能太長啦，有機會可能要分兩條啊。Okay, for the last two videos, we are going to focus on the most difficult part when we talk about credit creation or deposit creation concerning money supply. Okay, I will see you again in the next video. Bye bye.